discussion question is what is matter? Anyone tell me what matter is?
You might need to talk a little bit louder because I don't know how much it's picking up.
Sorry about that. Okay, so can anyone tell me what matter is?
It's the weight.
It's anything made up of molecules.
Is it?
So all matter is composed of particles, atoms, and molecules. And so how do we know something, what are the two properties that tell us when something is matter? Can any tell me?
If it has a
that
mass
right?
or volume.
What?
Is that on the right track? I just remember from the video it being
Yeah.
weight and something else.
It's matter is composed of particles, atoms, and molecules. It has weight and it takes up mass, or it has mass, and then it takes up space. Does anyone know what that's called? Volume. And then it occurs in the forms of what? What forms does matter occur in?
Solid, liquid, gas, or plasma.
Yes. Okay, so can someone tell me
Watch that video.
what properties describe each of those states of matter?
Say that again.
So what properties describe each of those three states of matter? So what about maybe their mass, their volume, or their particle arrangement? What gives them those three particular forms?
A solid takes up space and has mass. A liquid
Takes up is volume and
its volume is indefinite. Or what's the word? Where it's not always the same.
Where it takes a shape.
Yeah, so solids tend to maintain their own shapes unless it's finely powdered. It doesn't flow or spread out like a liquid. And then liquids flow readily and assume the shapes of their containers while maintaining the same volume. What about a gas? Can you change the shape of a gas?
no.
Why not?
You can touch it technically the particles.
You can't mold it. But it spreads and dissipates.
But you can contain it in a lot.
So gas doesn't have a set volume because so it doesn't have a set volume and it doesn't have a set shape because when gas is released, it just takes the shape of whatever container it's occupying. The same thing with liquids. So liquids obviously don't have their own shape either. They take the shape of the container. So does the same amount of liquid when placed into different containers change volume? So when I take one liquid and I pour it into another container,
No, it doesn't.
is that volume changing?
It's the same.
It's the same. Okay, oh my god, I don't know. Okay, is a solid always hard? Why not?
Because there's things like putty that's
powder.
soft.
So solid matter can change, or it can vary in
Running gold.
consistency. So, okay, so we had a list of, this was the prompt. I'm sorry guys, I should have printed all of this out, I feel really bad. So my prompt was, is it matter? And it gave me a long list of
Object theme.
of items, yeah. Why can't I find it? So this was my list right here, and it gave me things like rocks, baby powder, milk, air, light, all that kind of stuff. And I had to decide which one was considered matter and which one wasn't considered matter. And so I wrote that the components on the list considered to be matter are rocks, baby powder, milk, dust, cells, atoms, smoke, salt, planets, steam, rotten apples, water, bacteria, oxygen, and stars. And I said that all of these were considered matter because they had weight, they took up space, they were in one of those three forms. And then all the components that I did not consider matter on the list was any form of energy, forces, waves, and emotions, because they put love on there. I was like, okay. So energy is a property that tells us how much work we can get out of the object that possesses that energy. It can't be created or destroyed, but it can be changed from one form to another. So electrical energy is the movement of electrical charges. Fire is not considered matter. Fire consists of matter in the form of ionized gases and particles, but fire emits light and heat, which is energy, obviously not matter. And light doesn't have mass, doesn't take up space. It's also composed of photons rather than atoms. And light is emitted from matter as a form of energy released during chemical reactions. Sound does not matter because it's caused by the movement of matter in the form of pressure waves. I don't know what else to go on with this. I don't want to just read this to you, but okay, let's see what other questions I can ask you. So, where does energy come from and where does it go? Anyone have any ideas?
Solar power.
Where it comes from. It comes from the sun. I actually really don't know.
Okay, what does energy do?
It keeps us alive. I think.
I don't even know what the right answer to that is.
Wow. I wouldn't admit that in the video.
Can we pause that for a second so I can collect myself? Are you allowed to pause that?
No. There's just a stop button, so it'll be a different video if I start it again.
Okay, let me see. I just don't know how to go about reading this out to you. Do you want me to just keep going? Yeah.
You can ask us what.
Okay. So then tell me. So how can our senses distinguish and classify matters? How do our senses help us distinguish and classify matters?
By touching or feeling.
Okay.
And so in the video for our friend over here, when they were talking about how when the kids were trying to describe how what made something matter, and they're like, well, if you can see it and you can feel it, and then it gets, exactly. And so I mean that's a sense, just being able to touch it and feel it,
See it,
and
smell
see
it.
it, exactly.
So we use the properties, the features, and the behaviors that these items have to be able to classify it. So there's two different types of properties that something can have. What are those two different properties? Chemical and physical properties. So what is a physical property? Does anyone know?
It can go back. The change, you can reverse the change.
Okay, so if you make a change, you can reverse it.
It doesn't change the makeup.
So you can observe it without the makeup of the material changing. Okay? Chemical properties refer to what?
Things that always they change for good.
So chemical properties refer to a feature that is evident only when the identity of an object is changed. So the property is the ability to change, whereas the change is the action itself. Okay. Okay. So when do chemical changes occur? So if a chemical property
when the
is okay, so chemical property is referring to a feature that is evident only when the identity of so that means the composition is changing. When a physical change happens, that means you're breaking it or you're smushing it, it's not actually turning into something else. You can still see and look at it and see the physical properties of it. But that chemical change, the identity is not staying the same. It's completely changing into another substance. So when would that happen?
if you burn something.
So it's when these atomic bonds are like broken or they're created during chemical reactions. And that's when it can't go back, correct? So can anyone tell me what a change of state is?
When it changes from like solid to liquid or liquid to gas.
One physical form to another. So how is this change of state able to happen?
Through heat or temperature change or environment change.
So this change of state is able to happen because the spacing in the particles of the substance is changing due to a loss or a gain of energy, okay? And that's what you're talking about with heat. So, what is the energy of a substance related to?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I don't get
What is the energy of a substance related to? Like, how do we know, like, how something has more or less energy than something else? Like, what do we look at to be able to identify?
Look at its atoms, how fast they're moving.
The motion of its particles, right?
Okay, you can stop filming.